This speaker who is coming up next on stage is going to share his experiences with you. He spent a couple of years in Silicon Valley and says he learned a couple of things, and he's here to share that with us today. He is the CMO from TV2, Mr. Christopher Obereder. Give him a warm round of applause.
Thank you. Perfect. Yeah, great to be here today. And I'll share my experience about Silicon Valley, talk a bit about that, and also show you that it hasn't been like an easy ride always. It's more like up and down. And yeah, who has seen that TV show so far? Anyone? Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. It's my favorite. So if you don't know about Silicon Valley, watch that. It's nice, yeah. So first, I'll show you how I got into the space. Like I started like 10 years ago. It feels like 10 years. It's been 10 years. So I started with like 14, and I started making fan pages for fun. And a friend of mine, he had one that skyrocketed, got to like 600K fans, and then we started like making thousands of them. And yeah, this was all for fun. So we did this just for fun. Basically, we were 14-year-olds sitting at home, and one page gets to like 1 million fans, and then we start making like thousands of pages with funny titles, like this one, I'm Sorry, I Love You. And then if you type in love, that's the first one you see. And then we got a lot of the early Facebook traffic. So that's how we grew that fan page. And then we just made like thousands. And the biggest ones we had then had like 8, 9 million fans. So that was quite cool. But we were like young, and we just had fun. And sometimes we posted like, what are you doing? What are you having for breakfast? Like, this was not to make money. This was just to have fun. And then people approached me and asked like, hey, can you promote our things? And we have an app, we have a game, like, can you help us? But like, we felt really good when we had these fans, you know, like people came and they were like, you're cool, you have millions of fans, let's do something. And then I want to show you that then basically Facebook took all these pages away because we were posting a bit too much and having too much fun. And also we rented the pages, and there was too much posting. When we were sleeping at night, the other guys were posting. And then when we woke up, they were deleting everything. So we didn't know that they were posting all night. So that's when you're early and you don't know what you're doing. Then that also happens. And I tried like 2 years to get those fan pages back, and like no one answered. They were like, he's just 14, he's 15 now, and like he won't do anything. So like I never got the fan pages back, and I felt really like it didn't feel good. I lost everything within like a matter of a day. And so then I did an internship in PR. So I started a PR story and wrote like, the title was Facebook Robs Teenager. And that, of course, like was like for the PR. I knew that they would like that. So everyone was calling me, like BBC was like, come over, we'll do a talk show and we'll invite someone from Facebook. And then you can talk to them, and why did they take everything from you? And then, like you can see here, like Business Insider was there, BBC, and then also VentureBeat, TechCrunch. Like everyone wanted to write about that, and I actually liked it because I felt like, yeah, now I'm in the attention center. You know, I can do cool stuff. But then we got the fan pages back within like 2 days. So like they all called Facebook, and then Facebook was like, like it doesn't matter, just give it back. So yeah, then we got it back. So we were back in the game, but it took me like 2 years to get back in the game, and those 2 years were like just back as a normal teenager and like not knowing what I'm doing. So yeah, and then I got more into the app space because like a lot of people wrote me, can you promote my app? And that worked quite nicely. So I learned I learned how to get into the app space. Started with viral videos. You know, when you have all these fan pages, you can just, I knew how to film a video then and make it go viral, kind of. And now it's harder, but back like 5 years ago, that was really easy. And we promoted like artists, hotels, and I was staying at different hotels, just brought my camera, took a video, and was staying there like 2 weeks for free. Like that was fun, you know, when you're young, it's nice, and yeah. So then I got into the app business, and I got to know, like that was our first app. It's called Inlope, and it was kind of a big story back then. You'll see it later, like Financial Times wrote, is this the next Facebook? And we were like 17 or something like that, so it was cool again. But I also want to show you that it was cool, and people asked me, like, you're doing so well, man, it's going really well for you. But actually, like, we didn't earn money with that one. Like, we got 50,000 downloads per day in the best days, but at the end of the day, and people were like, yo, this could be the next Facebook and all of that, but we didn't like earn anything. We were like zero, like kind of broke in the bank, but we looked like we're doing really well. So I just wanted to show you that. And then my first big game was called OK. And that a friend of mine, he was like a gaming developer. He did paid games. And I said, man, this is old school. Go for like, try something new. Go for a free game. Like now it's time for free games. That's the next big thing there. And that game, actually, I always try to make things differently. Like, don't do it the same. Just try new stuff and do something different. And in that game, you could pay as much as you want. So you, after 10 levels, it asks you, do you want to pay 0 or do you want to pay up to like $9.99? And Apple was like, guys, this is crazy good. Like, this is nice. You're giving them the option. Of course, most paid 0, so that was bad for us again. But there were like quite a few people who also paid $9.99. So like Apple liked it because we're doing something totally different. And then we got featured in like 300 app stores in the world, and we did really well. So we were also 2 years App of the Year from Apple. So like we did really well with that game, and it was cool again and fun and all of that. Yeah. So I continued and did more featurings, featured all my games. Like that one game, Steve the Jumping Dinosaur, we sold it to the gaming company of Disney. And if you do it once and you get it, kind of, then it's easier to do it again. So that's my learning from that. So then when I did new games, I knew what I should look for. The gaming developers came to me, and then I said, this could work, this probably doesn't work. And then also I did featurings for like the city of Munich. And like once you get to know the app, the teams, you know, then it's a lot easier. And yeah, that definitely helped me. And then to show you the PR side of things, so that I always liked PR. And back until I left uni, I did mainly only PR. So I was doing PR all day long, kind of. And you can see many different, like this, the Aufreißer app, that was InLobe. Like we had a lot of PR, everyone was writing about us, but in the end, it failed. But that's normal, you know, that's startup life. And you have to try, like, I did kind of like 50 startups and maybe like 2 or 3 worked. And yeah, so many didn't work, but now when I start something new, I know it might not work, but along the way, I'll have a lot of fun, so it's fine for me. Like if it doesn't work, it didn't work, and it's cool. So I don't mind it so much anymore. Back in the day, I try to have fun while doing it and also do other things than just working, because otherwise you look back and you're like people say, what did you do the last 2 years with that InLobe thing? Like now you have still $0 or euros after that, and you should do something real and normal. Like always people told me, like do something, go work somewhere else, and yeah, but I always wanted to do this actually, and I tried other things, but I like this a lot. And then also did, like Microsoft-backed InLobe is an interest-based local social network. That was the huge story. And then everyone was like, you're the boss, you're doing so well. And yeah, it was cool. And then Facebook latest rivals fight for attention. That was our app. It says like Munich-based Christopher. And so it was cool, like that's nice. And that actually opened me the door to Silicon Valley. Like they saw this and I wanted to get a job after uni. That's now after uni, so I'm finished. I have $0, €0, but I did a lot of things. And people in Germany were like, man, this is not good, you fail so often, like this doesn't help us. So basically, in the US, they like this. They know that you tried hard, you did many different things, and I did a lot of crazy things. I don't mind doing like creative things, new things, trying new things. And in Germany, they just said like post on our social media channels, and that's good for you. And then I was like, no, guys, this is not good. So I left, and basically I wrote like 200 people in Silicon Valley, please take me, look at all what I've done. I just want to come over. So they were like, here's a ticket, fly tomorrow. So I was like, okay, cool, then I fly tomorrow. So I just flew over. They put me on the website as CMO, a really bad picture as well. And then I was like, this is good, Silicon Valley. And that was like flying over the next day, so it's crazy. Like they were like, just fly, you're making holidays, and come over. So like that's their mentality. They don't want to lose a day, and they were like, we'll try you for a week. If you perform, we'll keep you. Otherwise, you'll go back home. We'll buy you the flight back. So I was like, okay, let's try it. I can't lose anything, you know. If I don't make it there, then I'll just do the social media posting afterwards. It's the same. So I did that. And the thing there was they didn't pay me after 1 month, and then I was able to live at their place, so that's good. That was the deal, but I also wanted to get paid because I had nothing, so I needed some cash. And Silicon Valley is expensive. If you go there and you don't earn anything, you're not there for too long. So after 2 months, they told me, tomorrow we'll get the funding round, don't worry, you'll get paid then. And then that day they told me we're bankrupt. So yeah, that was bad. And then I was like, oh man, I might have to fly back. Oh, my family will be so sad, and they will be like, man, we told you, or something like that. So I was like, this shouldn't happen. And then I wrote like maybe 500 emails and got more interviews. I was living at their place still, so they gave me another week to live at their place and then fly back. So it was good. And then I was able to find something new. And that one actually, I was able to stay there for like over 2 years, and that was a good one. So what I didn't realize is that the Hay-Lads, they raised 1.65 million, but they used almost all of it already. And back in the day, I had no experience. So you have to see what the runway is, of course. They raised that 2 years before, and I thought like, with 1.65 million, we can stick around for 10 years. But it's not like that. So they spend it so fast, and it's gone so fast. So, and this one, then basically they gave me an apartment again. I'll show you how it looks. The idea was always I need an apartment because I have nothing, and then I need some cash, some money as well. That's good then. And then they gave me this place, and that was nice. I lived there for a long time, and it was like right in the middle between San Francisco and Palo Alto, so I was right in the middle, really close to their office, like 5 minutes, so they could just walk over, grab me out of the bed, and be like, man, get back. So and I stayed there for a long time, and that was good. And then I was more careful, but the thing there was, after like 2 months, I didn't get paid. That was the same again. I didn't get paid again. Like that's always, always like that. So after 2 months, I didn't know what I'm doing, and I didn't know how will I make them grow. Actually, like if I don't help them, then they don't mind firing me, of course. Because and then after 2 months, I figured it out, and it worked really well. So I knew if I tell them now, pay me or I'll leave, then they will probably pay me because we got like 10,000 downloads a day, and I had a lot of big influencers that worked with us, and they would leave with me, so they knew that. And then I went to the CEO, said we have to talk, and then he was like, please don't go crazy, man. Just stick around, you'll get the money really fast. But I said, like, you said that for 3 months, so I think I won't get it. So I was like, I will fly if you don't pay it until like Friday, and it was Wednesday, then I'm gone, yeah. But that was good, then I knew when I will ask them, and then I actually got paid, and then it opened me the real Silicon Valley, because until then I was afraid that I might have to go back, and that would be like failure kind of for my family and all of that. So that was the worst, that I would never like to do that. So then I was able to stick around, and they had a great team. Like team is really important in Silicon Valley, so they do a lot of outings, and like team is everything there. That's what they highlight always. And then now I want to give you some lessons there, what I learned there. Basically, I worked there for like 2 years, and in 1 year I was like, they don't take holidays. And coming from Germany, I thought I can have some holidays. And they were like, I was invited at a wedding on the other end of the US and in Atlanta. And I was like, can I take 1 day? And they were like, man, just tell them to do it on a weekend. You can do it. Like that's crazy. Like for them, it's like work every day until either we go bankrupt or we get acquired. So that's the deal. Don't take it in between. Don't do that. So I felt bad, but I took that 1 day, and then I left to Atlanta. But they were like, man, don't do it again. So this is how it works there. So now actually I work all the time as well. And like I got used to that. And I usually you don't get sick if it's like that because they fire you so fast, so you don't want to get sick. You know, if you're sick too long, then they're like, be sick in Germany and then come back again. Like it's like that. They're like, we don't mind paying the flight. The flight out, you always get it. So yeah. And then hire and fire is like 2 weeks, so it's really fast. So you're sick for 2 weeks, you're definitely out. And also, they often put, like once they asked for like a board meeting and they asked me to come, and I was like, oh no, I'm getting fired now. What did I do wrong? Did I not perform well? And then they fired my boss. And then I was like, oh, I'm still around. And then they said, can you take over for him for like just 2 months? And I was like, do I get more then? Or like, how does this work? Like, I do this and mine. And they were like, no, man, you just do everything. But we will find someone new. So basically, they fired my boss. I thought they will fire me. Yeah, that's how it works there. You know, it's like really wild. And they just fire people and say, like, don't come back on Monday again. And you're like, whoa. Like, I didn't have it like that, but my boss, he had it like that. So, and he worked at Google 8 years before. So 8 years at Google, and then they just fired him after 6 months. So I was like, actually, I'm doing quite well probably because I'm still around. And that made me appreciate my job always. When someone got fired, I was like, it's not me, because that was interesting, and I felt really bad for the people always, but they're kind of used to it. So I always felt, I told them I can help you, I'll try to send out emails for you, I'm good at that, I'm used to sending a lot of emails. So, but they were like, man, it's normal at Silicon Valley. And there, what's interesting is that it's all about like networking. So you meet everyone at the networking events, you can talk to anyone, people are really open to talk to you. And there's the TechCrunch summer party, that's the hotspot, and everyone has the name tag. And you can just walk around, find someone you're interested in talking. And they're even like the CEO of Netflix or huge people, and they just talk to you, give you like 20 minutes, and say like, pitch it, what are you doing? And yeah, I like this. You know, they're so open, and they're not closed up. I feel like that's the case sometimes in Germany. People here, they don't talk about how they're doing their marketing and their growth, and there they just tell you, and you're like, oh, I'll try that tomorrow as well. So they're really sharing is caring there, and they really tell you everything. And I sometimes thought, like, why are you telling me this? I will try this tomorrow as well. Like, and they were like, but they just want to help you as well, and you help them as well then. But kind of it works like that. So, and then communication is different than here. I feel like it's a lot online. And every day, every person stands up in the company and has like it's a daily stand-up, and you tell what you're going to do that day. And you say a lot always to be cool, and that people are like, wow, he's doing so much, he's good. But then you actually have to do it the next day. You have to say what you did the day before, and if you then say like nothing, or like then they listen like, he said that yesterday, and what is he saying today that he finished yesterday? And basically, if every day you stand up, you say what you're doing, you feel like obliged to help the team, and it's cool. Everyone listens, the CEO listens, and people care what you're doing actually. So I'm a huge fan of that. And if the company is not too big, I would actually try to adapt that system. It's quite nice. And planning-wise, they do like daily planning. So here, I think you do a lot of weekly, monthly, but there, every day, we were like, let's look at the numbers. What did we do wrong yesterday? What are we doing today to improve the numbers of yesterday? They're really numbers people. Like, I'm not so good with numbers. But they always have a data analyst. He brings the numbers, and then he's like, what did you do yesterday? And then the numbers don't lie, so they always go with numbers. And then also, every day, there's one person that gets the crown in the company. So one person, even like the junior engineer, can be like the person that rocked it the day before, and then everyone is applauding, and he's like, wow, I'm the greatest. And then that person wants to try to get there again. So that person works like day and night. That junior engineer is like, I will make it again. So I really like that as well. Like, people feel really appreciated, and I felt really appreciated as well. So it's nice. Like, they were like telling me, man, Chris, you rocked it yesterday. You're the best, and stuff like that. And then you feel really good. So yeah. And then there's no hierarchy in Silicon Valley. So people you can talk to the CEO, he's in the same room, and he's sitting at the desk. And if you would walk in and don't know the company, you don't know who the CEO is. So you're like, who is the CEO in here? Like, the CEO also wears like a hoodie and looks like an engineer or something like that. Like, you don't know from the hierarchical or also the rooms or architecture, you don't know who the CEO is. They're like sitting with you. You can walk over and say, hey, man, I need to talk to you. I have an issue. And then, yeah, there is a hierarchy, of course, but it feels like there's none. And everyone is kind of your friend as well. It's like a friendship, but it also breaks up when you get fired. So that's not, like, unfortunately, it is like that. But yeah, it's hard to. And then, again, as I mentioned, the motivation there is crazy. Like, when they brought me over, that was the second company. They were like, this guy is the #1 in Europe. We were so happy to get him. It was so hard. Like, everyone wanted to get this guy, but we got him. And actually, they were the only one that wanted me. But they were like, he's the best. And we love this guy. And then I didn't know how I will help them, but I was like, please, hopefully I find out how I can help them. Because if they believe so much in me, then if I disappoint them, it's kind of sad. And so every day I thought, like, how can I help them? How can I help them? And 2 months I was like, oh, I can't help them. I don't know what to do. And then in the last month or third month, I was like, yes, I figured it out. And then actually, yeah, that's nice. And then when I did this 1,000 emails, one person that I wrote as well was Shaw Parker. I don't know if this came from his like intern or something like that. But he was like, I talked with him, and then basically he sent an email to another company. Then he said, like, this is a social media black magic artist, and he didn't really know me, and then they hired me instantly. So yeah, like, it's interesting that people listen to you, and even if they don't have a lot of time, they also listen. So I really like that about Silicon Valley. And what's interesting there as well is they have that mentality, no risk, no fun. So I did a lot of things where I was like, don't do this, guys, copyright infringement, like, I don't want to do this. And they were like, I blame it on me then, like, I take it on me. And I was like, guys, like, this is bad and stuff. But they like, do it, otherwise someone else is doing it and they will win. So either we are huge by then, if someone comes and says, like, you did something wrong, then we're huge, we raised so much and all of that, or we're gone anyway, and then we're like, sorry. So that was very different. Well, I learned in Germany, like, be really careful with that, also with the fan pages. I never did any copyright stuff and was really careful, but in the US, they taught me, either you do it or we will probably lose. So, and they were like, just do it and don't always ask, and just blame it on me afterwards. But they would blame it on me, I think, but they said, I will take all the responsibility, but yeah. And then I did more press again when I came back. People always ask me, why did you come back? Why would you go back? And I said, like, then that's when the crypto boom started when I came back. So I liked crypto, and crypto in the US, they're losing out right now. Like, they're really afraid. The SEC is hunting everyone down. And Silicon Valley, once in a lifetime, kind of like, they're not at the forefront. And I always thought that you have to be in Silicon Valley, but now I think you can be anywhere, and you can make it from anywhere. That's nice, I think. Like, now it's more global playing field. And like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I felt like you have to be there. Everyone always told me, like, it was your in-lope thing. If you're not in Silicon Valley, you won't get the huge funding round, and then you will go down, and it's over. Yeah. So then I came back, and then I went into my new field, which is crypto. And then I did many ICOs and worked in crypto, and that's my main thing. What I did for apps, when I saw that crypto could take off, I was like, I need to know every influencer in the crypto field. I will verify them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I will work with them. And then I got to know all of them. They're all my friends now. And then I was able to, once the crypto boom hit, then I was able to work with them, and that was a good one again. So yeah. But yeah, and then I worked with a lot of crypto startups, and then that's it basically. Yeah, but yeah, I think I talked about most. But if you have any questions now, feel free to ask, and you can ask anything really. I'm really chill with that. So if you have questions about Silicon Valley, you can ask that. If you want to know more like about crypto and yeah, I don't know where Bitcoin will be going, so I can't answer you that one. But right now, I think it's difficult to decide. Yeah.
Any questions? We got one here, right here.
Where?
Get a microphone to him. Yeah.
Oh,
Raise your hand. Did you have your hand raised? Oh, you didn't have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. So, any questions? Thomas has a question here. Oh, okay, there's one in the back, and then ganz vorne here. Okay.
Hi, I have a question. At which level of crypto is Germany now?
Germany is with Europe at the forefront, I would say. It's like, of course, Switzerland and Malta, and they're going for it. They're like Crypto Valley, that's what you say, but Germany is really there as well. I think the only one that's losing right now, I feel like, is the US, because people are so afraid to do something wrong and then they'll go to prison in the US because they did something in crypto that, and now people in Silicon Valley are calling me like, Chris, we want to do an ICO as well. That's what they call me now, but like, we started like 6 months ago in Europe, and now the US is starting. They want to do it in Gibraltar, so they're starting now, but they're still far away, I think. So it's great. We're ahead of them. So Europe is leading right now with like Asia and other countries, but US is back. So it's nice. I like it, you know, because I had to go there, and sometimes I wasn't treated that well, or like they were like, you're out and stuff like that. So now I'm like, Europe is ahead, so it's good. Yeah.
We got a microphone for Thomas.
Thanks, Chris, for this very personal story. My question is, do you have, or what kind of emotional relationship you have to the products of your companies? You said you were in more than 50 startups, so there's only little time to identify what the startup is doing. Germans are said to have a very deep emotional relationship to the content of what they are doing. You obviously not.
No, I also have a relationship, of course. If you work with it a long time, of course, my first projects, I was really involved. When they failed, I was like, what did you do, and all of that, and you feel really depressed, and it's like breaking up in a relationship. You know, now the relationship is less emotional, of course. Yeah. Now I look at it at the data and more from a technical standpoint, and also I'm always like the founders are really good friends, of course. Like, you have a friendship, but I don't care so much about the project in itself. If it doesn't work out, more about the people behind it, that they still do well if it doesn't work out. And I think that's key always, that the people behind it are really important to me, and they're really good friends always. When it doesn't work out, I try to help them to shift them over. But unfortunately, many of my friends that started with me, they left the scene again. Like, after 3 years of failing with me, they were like, man, this won't work out. My parents say, go do banking, and I go into banking. And now they're like, Chris, I'm coming back. So now some of them are like, I want to do startups again as well. But I did it for so long that many people left it again, unfortunately. So I just stick around with it, and don't worry. Like, always people are really risk averse, and they're like really afraid to fail. But actually failing, I failed so often, it doesn't matter. You will get around. Like, you won't sleep under a bridge or something. Like, I got always a place to stay in, and then at some point some things worked, but it took really long, and I didn't think it would take so long, but it wasn't that bad. It was a lot of fun, and then in the end it kind of worked out. So yeah. I'm not where I want to go, but I got closer. But you never reach your end goal, so there's always new goals, and yeah.
Do you regret coming back?
No. Like, now, they call me and say, come back to Silicon Valley, crypto, you know. So, but no, I'm not sad or something of coming back. I like Europe, and I will want to live here as well. I don't want to live in Silicon Valley. You know? I just want to bring you this message, like, learn a bit of that, maybe try to think a bit like Silicon Valley and learn the good things and don't do the bad things. Yeah. That's my lesson. Yeah. And just follow your dreams and go for it. Yeah.
Good. All right, any other questions? We're right here.
Thanks. You mentioned that it's from the one day you are hired and the other day you are fired. Do you think in Silicon Valley, for example, at the company like Google or stuff, there is an opportunity to live like a normal German or European business life. So don't need to be afraid of getting fired the next day.
Yeah, I guess as the bigger the company gets, I had a lot of lunches at Facebook, Google, and all of that. They always bring you over for lunch. You have lunch there, and they told me a lot what they're doing. Like the big companies, it's more stable, kind of. But in the companies where I was, it's wild. It's the Wild West, you know. So but also the big companies, they don't fire in 2 weeks, but let's say 4 weeks. The thing there is, what you try is like in your first 10 years of work, where you don't have a family that you need to support yet, you'll try to have some buffer, because then if you get fired later, you have something and you're not like have nothing. So that's what people are trying. Then they get more chill in Silicon Valley once they work for 10 years. Salaries are quite high. If you work for 10 years, you have something on the side. If you get fired, then you will find something else, and you have a bit more time. I had no time. I had a week always, and then I needed something new, and then it's like that. But I think this is good. When you're young, you can take the risk. And I always wanted to. I know that when I settle and then 10 years later, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't risk it. You know, with a family, I would not risk it. It's way too stressful. Like one guy, he was like 60 and he got fired. He has 4 young kids, and is single. His wife is not there, and then he got fired as customer support. For him, it's quite hard. I was like sending a lot of emails for him and felt really bad. So for that, if you're an engineer, it doesn't matter. But if it's customer support, it's hard.
Yeah. Well, Chris, thanks very much. Let's give him a round of applause. That was great. Thank you.